Hey! We've made it to the end of another chapter. Wonderful work. Let's put these lessons into practice. Last time I weaned you off specific keystrokes, but this time I'm going to try and speak a little bit more like a designer, which oftentimes still suggests keystrokes, or really keystrokes are named after the language of design. Okay. In this design, we'll build upon angle intensity, but we'll add color and texture to create a Jekyll and Hyde scene. A person becoming a monster. By the way, it's going to be played by Abraham Lincoln. It'll be artistically obvious, overt, on the nose, but it'll also be fun. So throughout this scene, we're going to start in a blackout. Then we're going to move to an opening evening look. We're going to suggest the underlying Hyde-ness. We'll become a monster. We'll leave us with a silhouette, and then, of course, we'll finish off in blackout. In case you're going straight into this lesson from the previous one, we are going to begin with Q21. Actually, you know what? It's really important that you open up the follow along, otherwise you don't get Abraham Lincoln. Okay, here we go. Q21, blackout. So start by opening your follow along file if you haven't already. And we're going to start off in a blackout. If you haven't already, I'm going to sneak everything and I'm going to go to Q0. A blank canvas. Hey, we're already where we want to be. We're crushing it so far. So let's record this as Q21. Okay. Now we're going to go to Q24, the monster look. We need a quintessential monster look. And if we have the quintessential monster look, it kind of has to include green, right? We can't not. I would tell you that determining the colors and the texture that go with that green are imperative to determining the colors that should be used in the cues beforehand. So in this instance, I think it would be wise to begin at the end of our journey and then work backwards. So, which is why we're starting with Q24. So let's start in reality in our given circumstances. So let's start by taking channel 8 at full. And we're just going to make sure that it's kind of a bright white right here. This will play the role of the light over the operating table. So I'm going to make it kind of an orangish white. Next, let's create the monster portion of the look. So let's take channel 5 at full. And of course, we want to make it maximum zoom. Woo! And give it a nice little green color. Yep, that's pretty nice. Max zoom. I think we might not want to go pure green though. So maybe let's choose something a little bit more in the yellow area. Yeah, okay, that's maybe a bit more of an organic green rather than an alien green. Now, let's add some texture using channel 3. So I'm going to bring channel 3 at full, and that's not quite right. So I'm going to adjust the zoom so it covers the floor. And then I'm going to pick a texture. I'm going to go with something like that and adjust its edge. Yeah. And then we can move the focus around as much as we need to. So it lands both on Abraham Lincoln, Dr. Hyde, and on the floor. Finally, I'm going to give it a color in maybe the pink or the red or the amber family in order to contrast with that green. Maybe something like there. And it's a little bit bright, so I'm going to bring it down to maybe 65. There we go. This is what mine looks like so far. Okay, now let's add a little bit of form. There's a lot of shadow right here, a little bit of figure, some dimensionality to all of this. So to complement that amber texture, let's take up channel 7, which is in the opposite direction. So 7 at full, and we're going to give it a yellow. Ew. That's maybe too bright, so let's try 75. Okay, there we go. From the other back angle, which would be like channel 9, we're going to bring that to full. And we want to continue the time of day, night look. So let's give it not maybe a blue, but kind of a sea green here. Something that can be used before this moment, maybe like as the moon. Finally, let's fill in our front shadows with some face light. This is a stylistic moment, so it's fine to not light the face properly. So I'm going to bring up channel 2 to full. Ooh, which is maybe a little bit too bright as white light, but let's give it a deep, deep blue. This will ground us in our night colors. Maybe a little bit too much. I'm going to say at 50%. At 65. There we go. Okay, that's looks a little bit funky in visualization, but I think it would be pretty cool in real life. I'm going to record this as Q24. Okay, Q22, an opening look. Now let's work backwards. We'll be using channels 3, 5, and 7 to suggest monster. So let's take those all out. This means we get to work with 1, 4, and 6. Okay, so 3 and 5 and 7 out. We're working with 1, 4, and 6. Why 1, 4, and 6? Because we don't want to have our automark problem here, so we're just going to use the unused lights. Okay. Channel 4, let's take that to full and give it a nice cool blue to complement our sea green from channel 9. There we go. And now let's take channel 6 to full and give it maybe a nice like little lavender color. Ooh. Finally, let's bring channel 1 at full, and I'm going to pick some sort of nice rose or flowery or kind of floral gobo, maybe something like this. Might look cool. I'm going to zoom that out. Here we go. Oops, too far. Form. Image. There we go. All right, zoom that out and adjust the edge until we see the gobo. And that's a little bit too bright, so I'm going to say 55. There we go. I don't like that gobo. What do you think? Let's go with something maybe instead like, so I'm going to get rid of these gobos. I like these gobos maybe a little bit more. So there we go. That's much, much, much better. So now we're going to make this maybe like a deep blue or purple. There we go. That'll be nice right there. Okay. And now I'm going to maybe maximize the zoom so it's not so present. Maybe adjust the edge a little bit too so it's not so sharp. See how that changed Abraham's face from having some sharp shapes to maybe just kind of like the illusion, the suggestion of texture. Okay, that's good. I'm going to record this as Q22. Okay. Now I'm going to shift over to Q23, the hideness. So we simply want this to be a continuation of this look that suggests what's about to come without giving away everything that we're going to. This means it's better to lean towards Q22 rather than Q24. Show a little bit more night than a little less hide. So we're going to pull channels 3 and 7 from Q24. We've already made those decisions. So I'm going to say 3 and 7. And I'm going to hit the E button or the recall from button. I'm going to type Q24. So it's going to pull those two channels from that one Q. I'm going to hit enter. Okay. Let's make this maybe a little bit less strong. So I'm going to do shift minus or pull these intensities down just a little bit. All right. I kind of like that. And now let's maybe bring down the brightness of our goodness texture, channel 1. I'm going to make that down to maybe 35 so that we can show the hideness a little bit more. Okay, so we just mixed two decisions that we made into one Q and saved ourselves a lot of time. I'm going to record this as Q23. Okay, Q25, what's coming next? Let's create a closing silhouette. So Mr. Hyde standing underneath that single light of his operating table, supplemented with a few stylistic brush strokes. So let's remove channels 1 and 2. So 1 out, 2 out. So get rid of that front light. And now let's take out channels 4 and 6. 4 out and 6 out. These were safe nighttime looks. Now we're just kind of sitting in this unnatural world. Now let's take out channel 7. Ooh, this creates a nice deep shadow over here on the left. I'm not sure we want it to be that significant, so let's try 7 at full just to see what we can do. That's definitely too much yellow. Let's put it at 65% maybe. Yeah, okay. A nice balance. Finally, let's try channel 5 at full. So that's that greenness. Too much? Maybe. 50%? Not enough silhouette-y. Actually, let's just take 5 out. Honestly, I would kind of tell you that less is more. I'd rather make a bold theatrical look anyway. Yeah, I think this is good. So let's record this as 25. Okay. Finally, a Q26 blackout. To ensure that none of the lights that are on right now move as we travel to black, I want to start with this cue as the blackout cue. So, pretty simple. I'm just going to take channels 1 through 9 out. Oops. There we go. Try again. 1 through 9 out. Okay. Now all the intensities are out, but any focus, beam, and image and color settings will stay the same. So I'm going to record this as Q26. So that would be better than recording or copying Q21. Okay, now we're finished. So I'm going to step through everything to make sure everything is good. So Q21, going forward. Q22, Q23, Q24. The go from channel 1 snaps away as we fade and kind of traveled there. So we can fix that. So we're going to go to Q24 if we're not already, and we're going to fix it by figuring out, number 1, which light is doing it. So I'm going to go back. It looked like it was channel 1 that's doing the adjustment. We're going to fix that by setting 1 at enter. So giving it a null value, and the light is back up. So it now looks like it was in the previous cue. So now I'm going to take channel 1 out and update Q24. And now that'll fix it. How? Why? Well, we told the light exactly what we wanted to do when it was off. And computers are smart, but you're smarter, so you have to tell it what to do when you intend it to do that thing. Okay, we are fixed. Now for the most important thing in the entire project. Save. We save. We always save. We always save. Despite auto-saving, we always save. And now you're finished. Congratulations. And just in case you needed it, there's also a link to the finished version in your worksheet files. Have a great day.